Donald Trump just issued for a digital asset stockpile. How is this different than the strategic reserve? And is Trump foreshadowing including Trump and meme coins into this stockpile? Let's dive into everything that this executive order about digital assets really means and why you need to listen to what Trump is really saying with all of this. First, let's play this clip from Trump earlier today about the
This
U.S.
reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. My administration.
See, so now Trump is saying things about crypto, which I think should be definitely listened to very closely, especially the fact that Trump has just done everything about meme coins. He's bought wrapped Bitcoins and a lot of different things that makes you question whether or not Trump and these Bitcoin policies are actually sincere. But let's dive into this executive order first, because I think there's a lot of positives to it initially. So the executive order embraces Bitcoin, opens blockchain technologies, bans CBDCs, revokes prior restrictive regulations, and also he allows banks to now become custodies of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So I think that it is very interesting here that Trump is signing this executive order, but it's not just about Bitcoin. He's looking at it as digital assets and not calling it a strategic reserve. He's calling it a stockpile. So, what does all this mean? There's been a lot of critics online, one of them being friend of the program, British Hoddle, who I think is absolutely outstanding and an absolute firecracker. But he said the strategic reserve is no more, dead. We have this strategic digital asset stockpile now. Bitcoin is a digital asset. Bitcoin, a digital asset, but a digital asset, excuse me, is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is losing the lobbying battle. Twitter is its last hope. The shitcoins have stormed the White House. Bitcoin will still pump, and should the recommendation follow through, they acquire more Bitcoin. But anything other than Bitcoin being involved is not a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Call it what it is. Bitcoin's value is being diluted by having it mixed with all these shitcoins. The lawyers did a number on Bitcoin tonight. The United States of shitcoins. Well done, suits. Now, I agree that President Trump has done a lot for the Bitcoin space in the first 3-4 days that he's actually been in office. But that doesn't come without criticism. I think that we should be very openly criticizing a lot of the things and a lot of the moves that we are seeing from these politicians. One of them even coming from Senator Cynthia Lummis. She's making CZ, the Binance co-founder, the chair of the Senate Banking Subcommittee on Digital Assets. And although she said, and she's been very, forward with everything, that the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is pretty much confirmed, CZ is a very crooked character. He's got the BNB issues. He's been issuing the BNB token. He's been going through and literally just pumping and dumping all of these, shit coins and not really looking for Bitcoin only. So I think this move from Senator Lummis should come with some criticism. Although she's been very pro Bitcoin, I question this decision here of bringing on CZ going forward. But there are positives with a lot of stuff, right? So there's a lot of things that there are to break down in everything here. One of them, I think, obviously is very positive here going forward, is that Trump has signed the executive order to ban CBDCs. Now, this is absolutely huge, especially with what we're seeing going on in Europe currently. Europe is developing a digital euro. So there's the potential in Europe to develop a CBDC. China has already developed a CBDC. So the fact that the U.S. is coming all around, or is coming coming abroad and saying, hey, we should not be implementing a CBDC, I think is absolutely positive. Now, there are a lot of, I guess, clouds and smoke and mirrors with everything that is going on, right? I mean, this is from a Saylor parody account, so it's not necessarily Michael Saylor, but it is saying that the president of a United States company has acquired 142 million worth of Bitcoin in the past 2 days. But let's be frank here, as this guy here, Bitcoin decentralized P2P, is saying it's wrapped Bitcoin, so it's not the real deal. And I agree, right? So with everything that Trump is signing, it is clear that they are looking at it as the overarching industry and not just looking at it as Bitcoin and Bitcoin only, right? They're looking at a crypto executive order opposed to just a Bitcoin specific policy. Now, Nayib Bukele is meeting with Donald Trump here in the near future. So maybe, just maybe, he'll talk some sense into him and do it just with Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. But I think, the fact that he's mentioning crypto and keeping all of these crypto policies should be worrisome going forward. So some of the major takeaways is that Donald Trump signed an executive order promoting digital assets and other financial technologies this afternoon. The order was established as a working group intended to reshape regulation and the White House policy around cryptocurrencies. And the working group will consider the creation of a national digital asset stockpile. So that means that it's not just a Bitcoin strategic reserve. They're going to be looking at all these different things. And it worries me that Trump creating Trump coin and Melania coin and his people and his team really going about and looking at these quote digital assets are going to do something drastic and not just focus on Bitcoin. So I think that this is a potential issue. And but I think that there are some positives that can be taken away from all of this, right? I mean, there's as somebody is saying in the chat, and I'm going to get to that right now, that the SAB 121 repealed, and with all the news today, but price hasn't moved a centimeter. Today saw 2 rocket fuel catalysts implemented, yet price dumped, if anything. Thoughts? I'll get into my thoughts on price here later, but I want to get into the SAB 121, which is what my friend here is mentioning. Now, what is that? And let's dive in. So this is essentially allowing banks to hold Bitcoin and the accounting regulations for that. So it allows banks to, so basically here it says the Staff Accounting Bulletin, SAB, rescinds the interpretive guidance, including the section FF of topic 5 in the Staff Accounting Bulletin. So essentially it allows banks like JP Morgan, like a Chase, like a Capital One, like all these different banks, Citibank, et cetera, to custody Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and custody your Bitcoin with a bank, but it gives more people access to banks. So I think that, this is a positive here going forward. Trump is definitely opening the floodgates for a lot of things, but this might be a time to maybe slay your heroes here, as we got Michael Saylor even saying, hey, look, it's the crypto renaissance. They're not using the Bitcoin and Bitcoin only thing. So, I do think that this is a very positive thing here going forward for Bitcoin and the United States, but it's very worrisome to me that the language being used is always crypto. They're looking at getting the banks more involved. They want the US to be an AI and crypto hub. And I get it. Donald Trump, very positive on the Bitcoin and crypto hub aspect of things. But I really wish that, what David Bailey is saying here, that it's a Bitcoin stockpile opposed to a digital asset stockpile. That has me worried, right? As Shane is saying here, where's the proof? I've not seen one credible source on this. If the source is Fox, where's them reporting it? I agree. David Bailey's been in their ears and talking about different things related to the Bitcoin policy. And he's been really working hard to continue to do that. So I hope that this is the case, like I'm saying. But, like I said, there are a lot of positive to this, right? Like Donald Trump banning CBDCs. how could this be a negative? Definitely is not. And I think what Cynthia Lummis has been doing has been very, very positive. Just bringing on CZ has me worried and a lot of other things. But here, let's share this quote that Cynthia Lummis said on or put on her X account earlier today. So she said, President Trump has promised to make this administration the most pro digital asset in U.S. history. And within these first days, he's already fulfilling that promise with this executive order. Under President Trump's leadership, the United States will be the global leader in financial innovation and digital asset advancement. So Cynthia Lummis has really been banging the drum to do the Bitcoin strategic reserve for the United States. She's been one of the leaders in all of these policies. She's been at the forefront. She's been speaking at the Bitcoin conference for years. She's been in the ears of a lot of politicians, folks. But that doesn't mean that it shouldn't come without some sort of criticism or some sort of questions potentially raised here, right? I mean, like I said earlier, she did bring on CZ for the chair of the Senate Banking Subcommittee on Digital Assets. Now, banking is something that should be, is very anti-Bitcoin, right? I mean, Bitcoin is supposed to wipe out all these banks. And now it seems like they're trying to work together with these banks in order to further along adoption. So there's a lot of questions I think that should be raised about this. And although it is very positive for the Bitcoin space, I think that we should be a little pessimistic when it comes to this because we have not essentially, moved forward with this on, anything that's super positive, right? And I even think too, like if we go back to this article from Bitcoin Magazine, they were talking about, the potential of utilizing dollar-backed stablecoins. And as my boy Rare in the chat is saying, is stablecoins are CBDCs, and that is something that I am worried about as well, because I think we should be very pessimistic with these politicians. They have never really been on our side at any point in time. And now they're coming to our side because, we've had a third of Trump's donations come from the Bitcoin community, Bitcoin and crypto. But he also met with the Ripple co-founder and all these different things. So there is some sort of skepticism that you should have there. So, as Down Under Blue says, this is all FUD and misinterpreted. I think that everybody is jumping to conclusions and thinking that this should be the most positive thing in the world. Now, I do think it is positive. Let's get that out there, right? I think that everything that I'm lining out here is positive for the Bitcoin space. It just worries me that this is more about the crypto industry opposed to just Bitcoin. So we should be very cautious when jumping to conclusions and jumping for joy. So as Jay Poi Vlog says, Trump has already signed the crypto executive order. It was on Fox News 5 video. Yep, I agree. He did do that. And that is what I am rolling out here. And the Down Under says, we just need the Bitcoin CEO to just come in and raise the Bitcoin price. Hey, I hear you on that. And I agree here is banning the CBDC is the biggest W. I agree with all of this, right? I mean, I think the policy about banks holding Bitcoin is good. It gives access to more. It gives more access or more people access to Bitcoin products, right? And if Bitcoin was not going to survive the potential of banks trying to hold and custody Bitcoin, it was never going to win in the first place, right? We've had, the likes of Caitlin Long really trying to beat the drum for this. And I think like she and Custodia Bank are going to be the leaders of this. As Mouth Breather is saying, IMO, I think that there's cause for concern over the price action today in light of the news. Also, Sailor backpedaling and going along with crypto instead of BTC is worrying. I agree on the second point. The first point, I'm not necessarily all about the short-term price movements. So I'm recording this a little later. So the day candle is only 0.19%. But over the past week, it's about up 3.75. So we're sitting at 103,000. The reason I don't think that this price action should be worrisome is because we've kind of anticipated this, right? So the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve was not signed, right? The Bitcoin Strategic Reserve was not signed. It was a digital asset stockpile bill. It was not a full Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Now, there are positives, right? But the average person is not necessarily paying attention to all of this, right? What the banking industry is doing. We don't have banks announcing that they're buying a bunch, right? This actually might be a negative for those ETF products that we have, right? So maybe people are going to start selling their ETFs and look to custody with their banks opposed to custody with these ETFs. So I think short-term price action, you shouldn't take too much weight into it. They're waiting for a big splash announcement. And the splash announcement is going to be something like a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve being announced. But as you all know, I am very skeptical when it comes to all of these different products. I think the true power of Bitcoin is holding in self-custody and really utilizing the true freedom technology that Bitcoin is. You can be your own bank. And the best way to do that is by holding your own keys. Now, I've partnered with the best place to buy Bitcoin, and it's the Bitcoin Well. So you can go to thebitcoinwell.com/green candle, and you can buy Bitcoin directly from them, and they will send it directly to your cold storage wallet. You could set up down deposits, and if you guys are looking to make big purchases like 50 grand plus, you guys are seeing this price action. You're like, hey, like the guys in the chat are saying, why isn't the Bitcoin price moving up like I anticipated? Maybe it's a good time to buy because everybody's not really paying attention. You can go to the Bitcoin Well, you can go to this OTC, or you can even email me at greencandleit@gmail.com, and I could help connect you guys with their OTC desk, and they will give you the best white glove service to make these big purchases. So I highly recommend that if that is something that you guys are looking to do, and they can help you set it all to cold storage. So no matter the size, big, large, whatever, if you're a pleb, you could sign up, and then you can get wishing well tokens as well. So sign up for Bitcoin Well. You have the chance to win 1 million sats, and that's going to be life-changing money here in the near future, folks. So be sure to check all that out because 1 million sats now, I believe, is just around 1,000 cold ones, maybe 1,050. So that is the wet noodle measuring sticks that we've got here. And we do have the legend at BTC Sessions in the house. So what's going on? What's up, fam? If you guys don't know him, he's the best. He's got all these great things, all this great content. If you ever need any setup or anything like that, you can go to his channel if you're looking for help on how to get into cold storage, all that different kind of stuff. So this comment here, I think, kind of resonates with me. I think Saylor has better inside information than the likes of us. And I agree with that, right? We've seen Saylor meet with Eric Trump. We've seen him meet with a bunch of different politicians all over the globe. And everywhere he goes, it seems like they're popping up and bringing on more strategic reserve type of bills or proposing that. Now, the one thing that I said that does worry me is that this is all surrounded around digital assets, folks. It is not a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. Let's get that straight. It is not that yet. We are getting to the age where, this is the potential, and this is what Trump has signed in order for them to explore. But this is not exactly what they are offering right now. So I think that's why we're not seeing that drastic price movement that some people are potentially looking for here. But I'm going to keep this one short. Maybe we'll do another one on the potential of what China did, selling off Bitcoin here the past couple days. But as my buddy All Night Hider is saying, smoke that like button like Cheech and Chong. And if you guys are looking for some more content, I just dropped an outstanding interview with my man Jeff Booth yesterday. So if you go to my channel, Green Candle, you guys can go and check out this latest interview with the legend Jeff Booth in person. I got to sit with him in Medellin, so he's absolutely outstanding. So go ahead and check that out. and hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys all for coming out.